Welcome to the Italian Football Podcast.
Napoli, in my opinion, I think they deserved that win. You also have the continued breakout, Nima, of this guy that you really like. And we talked about him briefly a couple of weeks ago, but I think that he deserves a bit more discussion because he really has been a shining light. And let's be clear, okay, unexpected. Very unexpected.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, he's been amongst... Khvicha Kvaratskhelia has been on the radar for quite some time as being, a huge talent. I remember in 2018, The Guardian named him amongst the 60 best young players worldwide. I really noticed him when he killed Sweden's World Cup hopes by scoring twice in Georgia when they beat Sweden 2-0. And I mean, this guy is, we think that he came through the youth system at Dinamo Tbilisi, and he was 16 years old when he began his senior career there, and he moved on a year later. And then in 2019, he turned to the Russian Premier League. He played for Lokomotiv Moscow on loan. And they were disappointed. I remember, Lokomotiv Moscow manager Yuri Semin was very angry at the time that they couldn't sign him, and especially when he went to Rubin Kazan, where he signed a 5-year deal at the age of 18. And obviously after the war in Ukraine, he was able to suspend his contracts, and he went to he joined Dinamo Batumi in Georgia. And then obviously, throughout all of this, Napoli, throughout all these years, because I mean, let's be honest, let's be clear, this is a guy who's been tracked by both, Manchester United, Manchester City, the biggest clubs in Europe have wanted him. And throughout all of this, Napoli, Giuntoli have been in contact. They've used actually two former Milan players, Kaladze, but above all, Cristian Zaccardo, who advises Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, and they've kept contact with him and showed that they really wanted him, and they couldn't afford him before. But when the offer was, when there was an offer on the table, when the price was 10-12 million euros, then they pounced, and they did right in doing so. I mean, the guy is, he has literally everything. I mean, he's fairly ambidextrous. He's good in the air. He's good at doing his man. He doesn't seem to have any weaknesses. And I mean, obviously, I think it doesn't exactly hurt him that his father is Badri Kvaratskhelia, who's used to play for the Azerbaijani national team, is also a footballer. So, no, he really does have pretty much everything. And that shot we saw against Napoli, which which hit the post,
that was unbelievable.
I mean, the technique it does to do that, and he does it time and time again.
Well, no, it followed a Zidane turn, the famous Zinedine Zidane turn, where he puts one foot on the ball and then turns with the other foot and does a kind of almost like a pirouette kind of, and that was unbelievable, And then with one step forward, he then unleashes this missile, which hits the post. I mean, that's a goal of the season contender straight away. If that goes in, but I love watching the guy. Sometimes players come along who just instantly, within minutes of watching them, that you can tell that this is a special talent that's gonna, it's gonna make it all the way to the top. And that is the impression that you got from this guy within minutes of watching him in Napoli's first game of the season against Verona, wasn't it? And he was already, I mean, he's fearless as well. Like from a mental point of view, for a 21-year-old, he wants the ball all the time. He's not scared to try tricks. And he's got a lot of them as well. He's not predictable. He can go inside, he can go outside. He, right foot, left foot, both footed, shoot with both feet. He even scored a goal with his head against Verona as well. And searing pace. He's already scored 4 goals already this season, and ahead of the Liverpool game in the Champions League, I think that against Trent Alexander-Arnold, who obviously he's a wonderful player going forward, but he is dodgy defensively. I really think he can get him in Naples. I think that is where he can really cause problems against Liverpool.
Well, I mean, one of the funniest, his name in Megrelian, which is a sister language of Georgian, which is spoken in the western part of Georgia, means in that language the word Khvicha means shiny or brilliant, and he absolutely is. He shines like a star so far, and I think his future is shiny as well.
Listen to the full show and all other episodes by going to patreon.com/TIFP and become a member for only $2.99 per month.